our pack while this beautiful story unfolds. Chapter 1, Moonrise. The blood moon hung low over the dense forest, casting a crimson glow across the jagged treetops. Kale stepped quietly from the shadows, his wolf senses alert to every rustle, every faint heartbeat. He had returned to his pack after months away, months spent chasing rumors of a rising threat that could tear the Spellborn Bloodline Empire apart. And yet, nothing prepared him for the tension that greeted him in his own territory. The pack's council awaited in the clearing, their eyes sharp, measuring. Whispers died the instant Kale stepped into the moonlight. Even the youngest wolves seemed to sense the weight he carried, the power that pulsed in his veins like a second heartbeat. Kilgore, his second-in-command, growled softly. "We weren't sure you'd return." Kale's lips curved into a half-smile. "And miss seeing the chaos you all call a pack? Never." Laughter rippled through the clearing, but it was short-lived. Kale's gaze found her Luna, the healer who had always walked the thin line between loyalty and defiance. Her silver eyes glimmered under the moon, and for a heartbeat, everything else faded. She stepped forward, graceful yet firm. "The forest is restless tonight. Something dark is coming." Kale's fingers itched with anticipation. The magic of the blood moon tugged at his spellborn heritage, a gentle whisper that he was not yet ready to ignore. He had trained for years to master this power, but tonight, the pulse of the moon made his blood hum, and his heart beat faster, not just from the threat lurking in the shadows, but from the pull he felt toward her. "The moon rises," Kale said, his voice low, carrying a commanding weight that made even the fiercest wolves bow their heads slightly. "And with it, we prepare." A sudden howl tore through the trees, long, sharp, and full of menace. Kale's ears twitched. A rival pack, bold and reckless, was crossing into his territory. The warning cry was clear. They knew he had returned. Luna's hand brushed his arm, a silent anchor in the storm. Kale caught her gaze. "Stay close," he murmured, a low growl threading his words. She nodded, the connection between them electric, unspoken yet undeniable. As the pack gathered, the shadows deepened. Kale could feel the pulse of the moon feeding his magic, tugging him toward something greater, something dangerous. Somewhere in the darkness, eyes watched, hungry, calculating, and patient. Kale exhaled slowly, feeling the raw energy of his bloodline stir. The empire of blood and magic would test him tonight. But he was ready. And under the blood moon, he would prove that the alpha of the Spellborn Bloodline Empire was not to be challenged. The howl came again, closer this time, and Kale stepped forward into the crimson glow. His pack followed, hearts pounding in rhythm with his own, the tension between love and war tight like a drawn bowstring. Tonight, the first moonrise of his return would mark the beginning of legend, and the start of a story that would echo through the Empire for generations. Chapter 2, Blood in the Shadows. The forest seemed to hold its breath as Kale led his pack deeper into the clearing. The first howl of the rival pack still echoed in the distance, a sinister reminder that their territory was no longer entirely their own. Shadows stretched unnaturally beneath the blood moon, bending in ways that whispered of secrets and unseen threats. Kale's senses were sharp, every rustle and snapping twig sharpening his focus. He knew the rival alpha would not simply challenge him openly. They were clever, cunning, and patient. And patience was something Kale had learned to respect, even if it made his blood boil. Luna stayed close, her hand brushing his as they walked. It was a subtle comfort, a tether to the human side of him, the side that longed for more than war and domination. Her presence grounded him even as the moon's magic surged through his veins, making every heartbeat feel like thunder in his chest. "They're close," Luna whispered, her silver eyes glinting in the dim light. "I can feel them. Watching." Kale's jaw tightened. "Good. Let them watch. Let them learn what happens when they trespass in my territory." His voice was low, commanding, but beneath it lingered something softer, something only she could hear, a promise of protection, of closeness, of desire restrained by necessity. Suddenly, a rustle came from the underbrush. Kale's pack instinctively formed a circle around him, teeth bared, muscles coiled. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward, a lone scout from the rival pack, eyes wide with caution. Kale's hand went to the air, a subtle flick of motion as a thin veil of magic shimmered around him. It was a warning, a pulse of power that would leave any intruder questioning their courage. The scout froze, sensing the Spellborn bloodline at work. "You should not have come here alone," Kale said, voice cutting through the night like steel. "Tell your alpha that the Spellborn alpha has returned." The scout bowed slightly, retreating back into the shadows, but before disappearing completely, a whispered warning carried on the wind. "You cannot stop what's coming." Luna shivered beside him. "What does it mean?" Kale's eyes narrowed. He had sensed a deeper magic at work, something older, more dangerous than any rival pack. His blood hummed in response, not with fear, but with recognition. The Spellborn lineage within him was awakening, and the first real test of his power was about to arrive. "Let them come," Kale murmured. "Tonight, we defend not just our pack, but everything this empire stands for." A chill wind swept through the clearing, rustling the leaves like whispered secrets. The rival pack was out there, watching, waiting. But Kale's gaze lingered on Luna, on her unwavering presence. With her beside him, he felt the pulse of something greater than the threat, something worth fighting for, worth claiming, worth protecting. The shadows shifted again, darker this time, as if the forest itself held its breath. Kale tightened his fists, letting the power of the blood moon course through him. Magic and might intertwined, a warning to any who dared challenge the alpha of the Spellborn Bloodline Empire. And from somewhere deep within the darkness, a second howl answered the first. Closer. Louder. The night had only just begun. Chapter 3. Howl of Desire. The forest was alive with whispers of the blood moon, the rustle of leaves echoing like secret conversations. Kale moved silently, alert to every sound, every shadow, every heartbeat. The rival pack was near, he could feel it, but something else tugged at his senses, something warmer, more dangerous. Luna walked beside him, her presence a soft but firm tether. He could feel her pulse against his, her heartbeat in rhythm with his own. Every glance, every brush of her hand, sent a spark of tension through him, one he could no longer ignore. "Kale," she whispered, eyes meeting his. "Do you feel it too? The pull?" He smiled, just a fraction, a predator and protector combined. "I feel more than that," he admitted, his voice low, deliberate. "I feel you." A low growl rumbled from deep in his chest, not at the approaching rival pack, but at the undeniable draw between them. Luna's breath caught, and she pressed closer without thinking. The forest seemed to fade away, leaving only the magic of the blood moon, their racing hearts, and the electricity of something forbidden. But duty never sleeps. Kale's ears twitched movement, distant but deliberate. The rival pack was encroaching, watching, testing, waiting for a misstep. Kale's hand brushed the hilt of a dagger, a subtle but dangerous gesture, his magic flickering in a halo around him. "Not now," he muttered under his breath, though the words were half for her, half for himself. Desire, he reminded himself, could wait until the pack was safe. A sharp cry shattered the quiet. One of his pack members had spotted movement near the tree lean. Kale's senses went into overdrive. With a flick of his wrist, a subtle pulse of magic shimmered through the clearing, alerting the intruder that the alpha was aware. Luna grasped his arm, grounding him. "We can't let them see you falter," she said, her voice soft yet commanding in its own way. Kale nodded. He could ignore the pull no longer, but he could also not let it endanger his pack. His wolf instincts and Spellborn magic hummed in harmony, a blend of control and raw power. He stepped forward, his presence alone forcing the shadows to shift, the rival pack to hesitate. And then it happened, a howl, long and filled with both challenge and desire, echoed through the night. Kale's gaze found Luna, their eyes locking, and in that instant, all the tension, all the magic, and all the longing between them seemed to surge. The rival pack retreated slightly, wary of the Alpha's power, but Kale's thoughts lingered on Luna. The pull between them was a promise, a danger, and a temptation that would shape not only the night, but the Empire itself. The forest was alive, the moon blazing crimson, and Kale realized the truth. Love, power, and destiny were now inseparably intertwined. And somewhere in the shadows, unseen eyes watched, marking the Alpha and his Luna, plotting the next move in the unfolding game of blood and magic. The howl came again, closer this time, and Kale knew tonight was only the beginning. Chapter 4, Secrets of the Pack. The forest had grown quieter, almost too quiet, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Kale's pack moved cautiously, each step deliberate, ears straining for the slightest hint of danger. Luna walked beside him, her hand brushing his occasionally, a reminder that even in the shadows, she was his anchor. Kale's instincts were alert. Something was off, not the rival pack this time, but within his own. Subtle glances, hushed whispers, and the faintest tension in the air told him that loyalty could be bought or broken. His wolf senses flared. Secrets lived here, hiding in plain sight. Kale, Luna's voice was soft but urgent. There's something you're not seeing. He turned to her, studying her face. Her silver eyes shimmered under the blood moon, alive with concern and intuition. Show me, he said. Together, they slipped between the shadows, approaching a clearing where two of his pack members stood too close, speaking in hurried, nervous tones. Kale's presence made them pause. One of them, the youngest, stumbled over words, eyes wide with fear. You. Kale's voice was low, dangerous. What are you hiding? The older pack member swallowed hard. It's nothing, Alpha. Just rumors. Nothing more. Kale's hand sparked with subtle magic, a warning pulse that made the air shimmer around him. Rumors that could endanger us all, he said, each word measured, deadly. You will tell me everything. The younger one hesitated, then nodded, trembling. There's a vampire in the northern woods. Watching us. I didn't think. Kale's jaw tightened. The enemy was closer than he had thought. He turned to Luna. See? I was right to trust your instincts. They're hiding more than just themselves. This is bigger than a rival pack. Magic surged through him, the blood moon feeding his Spellborne lineage. His aura glimmered faintly, a protective barrier against prying eyes and dark forces. Luna placed her hand on his arm, grounding him as his power ebbed and flowed like a tide. And the pack, she asked quietly. Kale exhaled slowly. They will follow me. But secrets like these, he paused, eyes scanning the tree-line. They are dangerous. And they will test loyalty like never before. A howl cut through the night, sharp and threatening. Kale stiffened. The rival pack was closer than they realized, emboldened by their spying, unaware that Kale's senses had already tracked their every move. He met Luna's gaze. We prepare. Tonight, loyalty will be tested. And so will love. Her fingers tightened on his arm. Then we face it together. Kale nodded, feeling the pulse of the moon through his veins, the heat of desire, and the weight of responsibility. The Spellborn Bloodline Empire was alive around him, full of secrets, power, and the promise of destiny. And in the shadows, unseen eyes continued to watch, waiting for the first misstep. Chapter 5, Lunar Eclipse. The blood moon had reached its zenith, casting a crimson glow that seemed to bleed into the forest itself. Kale stood at the edge of the clearing, the air thick with tension. His pack was alert, muscles coiled like springs, eyes scanning the shadows. Tonight, the forest was not just alive, it was dangerous, alive with magic and threat alike. Luna approached, her silver eyes catching the eerie glow. Kale, something is wrong, she whispered, a tremor of fear threading her voice. He reached for her hand, grounding them both. I feel it, he admitted, the hum of his Spellborn bloodline thrumming through his veins. The moon, it amplifies magic tonight. Not just mine, something else stirs. A low growl rolled through the clearing as the pack sensed the shift. From the tree-line, shadows danced unnaturally, twisting with intent. A figure emerged, cloaked in darkness, eyes gleaming like obsidian. A rival alpha, or perhaps something older, something deadlier, had arrived. Kale stepped forward, protective, commanding. "Leave now," he warned, voice like iron, or face the Spellborne. The figure chuckled, a sound that sent shivers through every wolf in the clearing. "Spellborne? So young, so reckless. Do you even know what you've awakened?" Luna's hand pressed against his arm, grounding him again. Her closeness ignited a spark he struggled to control, desire weaving through danger like fire through dry grass. Kale's heartbeat surged, not just from fear or anger, but from the pull of her presence, as if the blood moon itself conspired to intertwine their fates. A surge of magic erupted from Kale, a glowing aura that shimmered like liquid silver. The rival recoiled, but only briefly. The forest trembled with power, and Kale realized the fight would not be won by strength alone. It would require cunning, willpower, and mastery over the bloodline magic coursing through him. The pack charged, teeth bared, instincts honed. Kale moved beside Luna, side by side, their bond unspoken but undeniable. Together, they were stronger than the enemy, stronger than the shadows that sought to divide them. As the battle erupted, Kale caught Luna's gaze. "Stay with me," he said, a whisper over the clash of power and the roars of the pack. "I always will," she replied, determination and desire entwined. The rival lunged, magic crackling in the air like fire over water. Kale met it, deflecting, channeling, weaving Spellborne energy into a barrier that pulsed with the rhythm of the blood moon. Sparks of crimson and silver danced around them, illuminating the forest in chaotic beauty. And then, just as suddenly, the rival retreated, melting into the shadows with a mocking laugh. The forest fell silent, the echoes of the lunar eclipse lingering like a heartbeat. Kale's chest heaved, his magic settling, but the tension remained. He turned to Luna, their fingers brushing, and he knew the pull between them was no longer subtle. The pack gathered, exhausted but victorious, unaware that this was only the beginning. The blood moon had shown them the future, a test of power, loyalty, and love. And in that crimson light, Kale understood one undeniable truth. The Spellborn Bloodline Empire was rising, and so was the legend of its alpha. The shadows whispered once more, a faint promise of what was yet to come. Chapter 6, The Forbidden Forest. The trees loomed like silent sentinels, their twisted branches stretching toward the crimson sky. Kale led his pack carefully, every step measured, every sense alive. The forest was forbidden for a reason. The air hummed with ancient magic, old as the Spellborn bloodline itself. Luna stayed close, her presence grounding him even as the magic tugged at his veins. "Kale, are you sure we should be here?" she whispered, eyes wide with both awe and fear. He glanced at her, the corners of his mouth lifting in a faint, wry smile. "If we don't go, the one who's sick will not survive. And the secrets this forest holds, well, we need answers." A soft rustle came from the underbrush, and Kale's senses flared. The forest was alive, every shadow a potential threat, every whisper a warning. His magic responded, a faint silver shimmer tracing his hands, ready to strike or shield at a moment's notice. They moved deeper, the canopy thickening, the moonlight filtering down in ghostly beams. Strange symbols, carved into tree trunks and stones, glowed faintly as they passed, runes of protection, of warning, of power. Kale recognized some, ancient Spellborn markings, but others were unfamiliar, foreign. "Someone or something has been here," he murmured, touching a rune. A spark of recognition flared, and he felt a pulse of energy beneath his fingertips. The forest was speaking, and it wanted him to listen. Luna's hand brushed his, sending a shiver of both warning and longing through him. "Kale, this feels alive," she said softly. "It is alive," he replied, voice low and steady. "And it knows we are coming." Suddenly, a figure stepped from the shadows, tall, cloaked, eyes glinting with danger. Kale's magic flared instinctively, a pulse of silver and crimson energy surrounding him. The figure raised a hand, and the forest seemed to respond, branches curling, shadows twisting. "You should not have come," the stranger said, voice smooth but deadly. "This forest does not forgive trespassers." Kale stepped forward, shielded by magic, his pack forming a protective circle. "We are not trespassers," he said, eyes narrowing. "We are protectors of the Spellborne legacy. Step aside or face the consequences." The stranger laughed, a sound like wind through dead leaves. "Consequences? You don't even understand what you've awakened." Kale's gaze drifted briefly to Luna. Her hand found his, their fingers intertwining, a spark of intimacy amidst the looming threat. He drew strength from her presence, from the bond that had grown through battles, whispers, and the pull of the blood moon. "I understand enough," Kale said, his voice carrying authority, power, and something softer meant only for her. "I understand that together, we are stronger than any darkness that dares to cross our path." The stranger vanished into the shadows as suddenly as they appeared, leaving only the faint echo of their laughter. The forest seemed to exhale, and Kale knew this was only the first trial within these ancient trees. Luna's eyes met his, silver light reflecting the crimson moon. "Kale, we're in this together, no matter what comes next." He squeezed her hand, letting desire, power, and loyalty intertwine. "Always," he murmured. The forest closed in around them, shadows deepening, secrets stirring, and the blood moon hanging overhead as a silent witness. Kale knew that the path ahead was dangerous, magical, and filled with temptation, but with Luna by his side, he felt ready for anything. The whisper of leaves carried a warning, or perhaps a promise. The forbidden forest had only just begun to test the alpha of the Spellborn Bloodline Empire. Chapter 7. Shadow's Betrayal. The forest had grown darker, the blood moon now a fading ember in the night sky. Kale's pack moved cautiously, still shaken from the warnings and illusions of the forbidden forest. But something else had shifted, an undercurrent of unease that gnawed at him. Kale's instincts screamed. Not all threats were outside the pack. He had sensed it before, subtle glances, whispered exchanges, moments that didn't belong, but now it was undeniable. Someone had betrayed them. Luna walked beside him, her hand brushing his as if sensing the tension. "Kale, what is it?" she asked softly. He exhaled slowly, the weight of leadership heavy in his chest. "One of our own has crossed the line. I can feel it. Shadows linger where they shouldn't." Before she could respond, a movement darted between the trees. Kale's magic flared instinctively, a silver shimmer curling around him like liquid steel. A pack member stumbled into the clearing, eyes wide with fear. "It was me," the young wolf confessed, voice trembling. I told them. I didn't think it would go this far." Kale's jaw tightened, the pulse of the blood moon igniting his spellborn power. Rage and betrayal coursed through him, but he could not act recklessly, not with Luna near, not with the pack watching. "You endangered us all," he said, his voice low and lethal. "Do you understand the consequences?" The wolf nodded, shivering. "Yes, Alpha. I'm sorry." Luna placed her hand on Kale's arm, grounding him, reminding him of the balance between justice and mercy. Her closeness sent a jolt through him, stirring something deeper than anger, a mixture of desire and the need to protect, to claim, to hold. Kale exhaled, letting his spellborn power simmer rather than explode. "You will earn back your place," he said. "But understand this. Trust is the blood that keeps this pack alive. Betrayal is poison." A sudden howl echoed in the distance, a reminder that the rival pack was still out there, waiting for weakness. Kale's eyes found Luna's, and in that moment, the world narrowed to just them, bonded by shared danger, desire, and the pulse of the blood moon. "Kale," Luna whispered, brushing a strand of hair from his face. "We can face this together. No matter what shadows rise, we're stronger united." He leaned toward her, the energy between them electric, dangerous, intoxicating. Always, he murmured, his lips brushing hers in a fleeting, fiery kiss, a promise of trust, love, and power intertwined. The forest exhaled around them, shadows stretching and bending, a reminder that darkness was patient. Kale's magic hummed in response, a quiet but unwavering warning to those who would test him again. Tonight, a pack had been betrayed, but tomorrow, Kale knew, they would rise stronger. With Luna at his side, the Spellborn Bloodline Empire was unstoppable. And somewhere in the darkness, unseen eyes watched, marking the Alpha, his Luna, and the bonds that would shape the Empire's destiny. Chapter 8, Heart of the Moon. The blood moon hung low, pulsing like a heartbeat over the treetops. Kale stood atop a small rise, the wind whipping through his hair, carrying with it the scent of magic and danger. Luna's hand found his, their fingers intertwining, grounding him in a way no spell or power could. "Kale," she whispered, eyes wide with both wonder and concern. "I can feel it too, the heart of the moon. Something is awakening." He nodded, letting the pull of the Spellborn bloodline flow through him. The forest below shimmered, the shadows twisting as if alive. "It is powerful, older than anything I've felt. And it's calling to us." The pack gathered silently behind them, their eyes reflecting the crimson light. Every wolf sensed the surge of magic, the promise of both danger and revelation. Kale's gaze swept across his pack, then returned to Luna. "Stay close," he murmured. "Whatever happens, we face it together." From the forest floor, a faint glow appeared, pulsing in rhythm with the blood moon. Kale stepped forward, silver energy flickering along his arms. Luna followed, her own magic intertwining with his, a tether of light and warmth that bound them together. As they approached, the glow intensified, forming a circle of ancient runes etched into the earth. The energy was overwhelming, a fusion of magic and life, of history and prophecy. Kale felt it in his bones. This was the heart of the moon, the source of Spellborn power, and a key to the empire he was destined to lead. Suddenly, a whisper echoed through the clearing, soft but commanding. "Only the worthy may claim the heart. Only those bound by trust and desire shall awaken its power." Kale looked at Luna, and she smiled, her silver eyes alight with courage and longing. "We're bound," she said simply. "In this and in everything else." The moment their hands touched the center of the glowing runes, a surge of magic coursed through them, bright as fire, warm as sunlight, and fierce as the blood moon itself. Energy danced along their skin, and Kale felt something awaken inside, an ancient force, wild yet familiar, ready to obey. His heart beat faster, not just from the power, but from the undeniable pull of Luna against him, the intimacy of their connection, and the knowledge that together they were unstoppable. The pack held in unison, a wave of strength, loyalty, and magic that rippled through the forest. Kale and Luna's combined power radiated outward, sending a warning to every rival and shadow that dared approach. The Spellborn Bloodline Empire was alive, and its Alpha and Luna were unbreakable. As the glow faded, the heart of the moon pulsed one last time, leaving a trace of silver light in the clearing. Kale turned to Luna, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "We've only just begun," he murmured. Her lips met his in a kiss that was both promise and fire, their bond solidified under the crimson moon. "Together," she whispered. Kale smiled, feeling the ancient power of the Spellborn lineage thrumming in his veins. The heart of the moon had awakened something new, not just in the forest, but in them both. And with it came the certainty that their story, their empire, and their love would endure whatever darkness awaited. The night deepened, shadows shifting, and in the distance, a low growl warned that not all eyes had turned away. But Kale and Luna together were ready. Chapter 9, The Shadow Alpha. The forest was unnervingly still. Even the wind seemed to pause, holding its breath as if aware of the danger lurking just beyond the tree line. Kale's senses prickled. Something powerful was watching, waiting, calculating. Luna's hand found his again, a grounding touch that reminded him of what he was protecting and who he was fighting for. Kale. I feel it too, she whispered. Something dark, older than the rival pack. Kale's jaw tightened. Then we prepare, he said, silver magic flickering along his arms. This is no ordinary foe. Whoever or whatever this is, they're testing us, testing me. From the shadows, a figure emerged, taller than any wolf, cloaked in black, eyes glowing crimson. The pack instinctively formed a protective circle around Kale, teeth bared, muscles coiled for battle. I am the Shadow Alpha, the figure intoned, voice like a knife cutting through the night. And you have trespassed where darkness reigns. Kale stepped forward, chest heaving with anticipation and fury. I am Kale, Alpha of the Spellborn Bloodline Empire. You threaten my pack, my empire, and my Luna. Step back or face the consequences. The Shadow Alpha laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the trees. Consequences? You don't even understand the game you've entered. Kale's magic flared, silver and crimson energy intertwining, creating a shimmering shield around him. The blood moon pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, amplifying the spellborn power that coursed through his veins. Luna pressed closer, whispering in his ear, together, Kale. Whatever comes, we face it together. He exhaled, letting her words steady him. The pull between them, the desire, the trust, the raw intimacy fused with his power. This was no longer just a fight for territory. It was a battle for everything he held dear. The Shadow Alpha lunged, a blur of darkness and speed. Kale met him head-on, the clash of power sending ripples of energy through the forest. Spells collided, shadows twisted, and the pack engaged, their howls and growls a symphony of strength and loyalty. Through the chaos, Kale caught Luna's gaze. Her silver eyes shone with courage, a tether pulling him back from the edge of reckless fury. Desire flared, raw and undeniable, as he realized she was not just his anchor, she was his strength. A surge of spellborn power erupted from Kale, casting a wave of light that pushed the Shadow Alpha back. The figure hissed, retreating into the shadows, but not before whispering a chilling warning. This is only the beginning. The Empire will fall. Kale's chest heaved, the adrenaline and magic coursing through him. He turned to Luna, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Let them come, he murmured. No darkness can touch us while we stand together. Her lips met his in a fierce, brief kiss, sealing their bond in fire and power. The pack rallied around them, stronger, united, unstoppable. The forest seemed to sigh, the blood moon casting its final crimson glow before the dawn. But Kale knew the Shadow Alpha would return. And when he did, the Spellborn Bloodline Empire and Kale's love would be ready. Chapter 10, Blood Moon Rising. The first hints of dawn were swallowed by the crimson glow of the blood moon, painting the forest in deep reds and shadows. Kale stood at the heart of the clearing, his senses stretched to their limits. The Shadow Alpha's warning echoed in his mind, a reminder that the night was far from over. Luna's hand slid into his, her warmth anchoring him against the surging tension. Kale, can we do this? She whispered, silver eyes reflecting both fear and resolve. Kale's gaze softened as he met hers. We don't have a choice. But together, we can face anything. A pulse of magic rippled through the forest, and Kale's spellborn bloodline responded instinctively. His aura shimmered, silver intertwined with crimson, sending a clear message. The Alpha and his Luna were united, unstoppable, and alive with power. From the shadows, movement stirred. The rival pack and the Shadow Alpha had returned, emboldened by the night's chaos. Their howls pierced the forest, challenging Kale and his pack, daring them to falter. Kale's teeth clenched, the pull of his wolf instincts sharpening every sense. Form the circle, he commanded. No one steps past these boundaries. The pack obeyed instantly, muscles taut, teeth bared. Kale's eyes met Luna's, and in that glance, unspoken understanding passed between them. This fight was not just for territory, it was for the future, for loyalty, for the bond that had grown stronger with each passing night. A shadow moved closer, tall, powerful, dripping with malice. The Shadow Alpha had come again, his presence pressing on Kale like the weight of the night itself. Your empire, your bond, it means nothing, the figure hissed, eyes glowing crimson. Kale's hands ignited with spellborn magic, silver and crimson fire spiraling around his arms. You are wrong, he growled. Everything we are, everything we fight for, is stronger than any darkness you bring. Luna pressed against his side, her own energy merging with his. Desire surged through him, a powerful, electric current, and Kale realized that love and magic could be allies as potent as any spell. The Shadow Alpha lunged, magic and shadow colliding with the brilliance of Kale's spellborn energy. Wolves snarled, packs clashed, and the forest erupted into a storm of power, loyalty, and raw emotion. Amid the chaos, Kale caught Luna's gaze. She smiled, fierce and unwavering. He drew her close, their foreheads touching. Together, he whispered, and the words carried through the night, louder than any roar, brighter than any spell. Their combined power surged outward, a wave of silver and crimson light, pushing the Shadow Alpha back. He hissed, retreating into the darkness, leaving behind only a promise: the Empire is not yet safe. Kale exhaled, heart pounding, sweat and magic mingling on his skin. Luna's lips brushed his in a fleeting, searing kiss, grounding him, igniting him, and promising him that together, they could withstand anything. The blood moon hung low, its crimson light slowly fading. But Kale knew this was only the beginning. The Shadow Alpha would rise again, darkness would test them, and the Spellborn Bloodline Empire would face challenges the likes of which no pack had ever known. Yet with Luna by his side, desire and power intertwined, Kale felt unstoppable. Their bond was their strength, their love a weapon, and the Empire theirs to protect, come blood, magic, or shadow. Chapter 11, Echoes of the Past. The forest was quieter now, the chaos of the blood moon fading into memory. Kale stood beside Luna, the first pale rays of dawn filtering through the trees. The pack circled them, vigilant but tired, each wolf sensing the weight of what had passed, and what was yet to come. Luna rested her head against Kale's shoulder. Do you ever wonder why this forest, this empire, chose us? She asked softly, her voice tinged with awe and curiosity. Kale's gaze drifted to the shadows of the trees, his mind alive with whispers of history. The Spellborn bloodline isn't just about power, he murmured. It's about legacy, loyalty, love, and lessons from the past. A sudden shimmer of silver light caught his eye. Kale stepped forward, magic humming beneath his fingers. An ancient rune, hidden among the roots, pulsed faintly. He recognized it, a symbol from centuries ago, a spellborn marker of guidance and warning. Luna's hand found his, warm and grounding. What does it mean? Kale traced the rune, feeling the echoes of those who had come before them. It's a message, he said slowly, his voice reverent. A reminder that the strength of the Alpha isn't just in power. It's in knowing the past, embracing it, and protecting what you love. The memory of his ancestors' battles, their triumphs and sacrifices, surged through him. He understood now why the Shadow Alpha had come. The darkness was a test, one written long before he or Luna had even been born. Luna pressed closer, her silver eyes reflecting the morning light. Then we'll learn, she whispered. Together. Kale turned to her, pulling her into his arms. Desire and trust mingled in that embrace, fierce and tender all at once. Always, he murmured, lips brushing her hair, then her forehead, finally her lips in a fleeting kiss that promised both protection and passion. The pack stirred, sensing the bond between their Alpha and Luna, a strength that radiated outward, binding them all. Kale could feel it, the energy of the bloodline, the pulse of the Empire, and the magic that ran through both them and the forest. Tomorrow, he said, his voice firm, we face what comes next. The Shadow Alpha will not rest, and neither can we. But tonight we honor the past and the bond that makes us strong. Luna's fingers laced with his. And we'll face it together, she said. Kale smiled, a rare, genuine curve of his lips, and let the echoes of the past guide him. The Spellborn Bloodline Empire was alive in every beat of his heart, in every spark of magic, and in the growing fire between him and Luna. And as the forest exhaled around them, he knew one undeniable truth. The past had chosen them, but the future was theirs to claim. Chapter 12, Rise of the Blood Moon. The crimson glow of the blood moon returned, hung heavy in the sky like a warning and a promise. Kale stood atop the cliff's edge, the wind whipping around him, carrying the scent of forest and power. The pack circled below, alert, muscles taut, senses heightened. Tonight, destiny demanded everything. Luna approached, her silver eyes reflecting the moonlight, her presence a soothing anchor amid the surging tension. Kale, it's stronger than ever, she whispered, voice both fearful and awe-filled. The magic, it's rising. Kale's Spellborn bloodline pulsed, crimson and silver energy weaving along his arms. I feel it, he murmured. The Shadow Alpha won't wait. The blood moon rises, and with it, our trial. A howl split the night, a challenge, feral and deep. From the shadows, the Shadow Alpha and his loyalists emerged, their eyes glowing like fire. They had come to test the Alpha, to challenge the bonds of love, loyalty, and power that Kale had fought so hard to forge. Form the circle, Kale commanded, his voice cutting through the night. The pack moved like one, every movement precise, every growl a warning. Luna pressed against his side, her hand brushing his, sending a spark of warmth through him that had nothing to do with magic. Together, Kale, she murmured, we can do this. He nodded, eyes locking with hers. Always. The Shadow Alpha lunged first, shadows and darkness twisting like smoke around him. Kale countered with a surge of Spellborn energy, silver and crimson intertwining in a brilliant shield. Sparks of magic scattered through the clearing, illuminating the pack, the forest, and the tension that crackled like electricity in the air. Amid the chaos, Kale caught Luna's gaze. Desire and urgency fused, and he felt the bond between them strengthen, not just love, but shared power, trust, and destiny. He pulled her close, lips brushing hers in a fleeting, heated kiss. Hold me, he whispered. We fight as one. Luna's fingers tangled in his hair, matching his fire with her own. Always, she breathed. The Shadow Alpha struck again, faster, deadlier, but Kale's Spellborn bloodline surged. Every strike parried, every threat met. The pack fought alongside him, united, unwavering, feeding off the Alpha's strength. Then, as the blood moon reached its zenith, Kale channeled every ounce of power through him and Luna, unleashing a wave of energy so pure and intense that it forced the Shadow Alpha and his followers back. They hissed, retreating, shadows dissipating like smoke in the wind, but not without leaving a chilling promise. This is only the beginning. Kale exhaled, chest heaving, arms trembling with the intensity of power and emotion. Luna pressed against him, lips finding his again, soft now, grounding, a mixture of passion and relief. We did it, she whispered. He smiled, brushing her hair from her face, feeling the hum of magic settle, the pack rally around them, and the bond between them stronger than ever. This was only the start, he said, silver light glinting in his eyes. The blood moon rises, the empire grows, and our story is just beginning. The night deepened, the forest alive with whispers and magic. Kale and Luna, bound by love, power, and destiny, stood together, ready to face whatever darkness came next. Chapter 13. Secrets of the Shadow. About Luna, she is the last of her kind. She has celestial pure bloodline. She has powers to heal, to destroy, and to protect, and she is telekinesis as well, and with the power of her wolf, she is pure silver and pure unbridled power. Kale. His powers. He was just born able to do magic from birth. The earthy elements bent his will by thought, and he continues to concentrate on building his body strength both with powerful muscle and the power of ki. His ki alone has 6 different stages. Strength, protection, deflecting, healing dot, and powerful ki blasts, and a powerful ki. Supernatural shield that can grow to the size of a full country. And he can empower others with ki in times of healing, and just to make them stronger, and his wolf is pure white the size of a car, not your normal size, but with the power of his wolf he is unstoppable. That's why Keel and Sarah Luna are the strongest power couple in 100 years. Through their mate bond, they feel each other, hear each other's thoughts, and strengthen each other's powers and stabilizes each other's powers. So after realizing traitors in their midst, and the alpha vampire king Daemtri Talon, also called the Dark Shadow, he was ready to attack and they didn't know why he had become an enemy? Keel and Sarah Luna left the pack alone, went to the sacred stones on the south side of their territory, hidden deep in the forest, where they lighted candles and built a bonfire and created a protection barrier that no one or thing, not even other magic, could cross into. They both sat down inside the barrier Indian style and held hands, closed their eyes, and they magically synchronized to contact the alpha vampire king Daemtri Talon through telekinesis. As they made contact, Daemtri was startled, but was open to conversation. He said, "What magic is this?" He felt no fear and just sat back and said, "I am open." With a deep, almost imposing growl said, "Talk. We want to meet you in neutral territory and make a treaty and set up boundaries. Could you tell us? Why the hatred?" "Well, I was informed that you were trying to take over the north boundaries, and we have had many unexplained deaths and disappearances that all point to the Spellborn Bloodline Empire." Keel said, "I never gave such a command. This is treason, not my doing. To many lives have already been lost on both sides. We have had disappearances and unexplained deaths of our young children, and all signs pointed to you, Daemtri." "What? What is that?" "I don't believe in harming children. That goes against everything I am about." I am appalled. "I know most think of me as a monster, but I have a code that I live by. This was not done by me." Keel said, "I know him in your head, and I feel no betrayal here." "Daemtri, what is it that you need? How could the Spellborn Bloodline Empire help?" "I want my territory safe, and I want protection for the ones I care about. We can offer you the lands in the north and offer protection. We want to be magical allies, not mortal enemies. We are sorry for not reaching out sooner, but we didn't know you had issues or any needs, so we want to respectfully rectify this right now. This would be a blood oath between 2 alphas, packs, werewolves, and vampires. We would have to sign the treaty and perform the ritual for bloodline blood oaths under the full moon that happens in 3 days' time. Keel and Sarah Luna, we will cut our right palms, and you and your mate cut your palms, and we mix our blood. We say our enchantment, and I will seal it with magic, and Sarah will seal it with her celestial seal. I know our councils and yours will probably have fits. I have traitors in my court I am preparing to expose in the morning. So I trust that you can weed out the traitors in your kingdom and meet with us here in the sacred temple under the moon." The Elf King Daemtri said, "Well, how do I know that this is real and not a trap to take over my territory?" Keel said, "Daemtri, I give you my word and my magical seal in the palm of your right hand, and the palm of my right hand to verify." As Keel spoke, Daemtri felt fire on his right hand, and a bloodline oath symbol appeared like a tattoo on the palm of his hand. At the same time in Keel's palm appeared a blood oath symbol that matched. "All right," he said, "you have a deal. I will weed out the traitors here, and I will see you in 3 days' time under the blood moon. My mate was killed. I will come alone to complete this ritual. I will find the traitors who killed her, since I now know it wasn't you." Keel said, "I promise we will help figure out who killed her. We are sorry for your loss." The forest was cloaked in a heavy mist, the remnants of the blood moon's glow fading into twilight. Kale moved silently, senses alert, spellborn power thrumming along his veins. Every shadow seemed alive. Every whisper carried warning. Luna walked beside him, her silver eyes scanning the fog. "Kale, I feel something," she murmured, fingers brushing his arm. "Something the Shadow Alpha isn't telling us." He nodded, tension tightening his chest. "I know. There's more to him than darkness and rivalry. Something hidden, something dangerous." A rustle came from the underbrush. Kale's magic flared instinctively, illuminating the mist with silver and crimson sparks. From the shadows, a figure emerged, not the Shadow Alpha, but one of his own, someone he had trusted. I couldn't tell you, the figure stammered, eyes downcast. The Shadow Alpha, he's planning something worse than we imagined. Kale's jaw tightened. Betrayal again, subtle but sharp, cutting deeper than any bite. Then speak, he demanded. Every secret, every plan. Now. The wolf swallowed hard. He's searching for the heart of the eclipse, the ancient spell that can control the blood moons. If he succeeds, he can bend magic, pack, and empire to his will. Kale's eyes met Luna's, a silent understanding passing between them. The stakes had just risen higher than ever before. This wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a battle for the very balance of magic itself. Luna's fingers intertwined with his. Desire and resolve surged together. Kale, we can stop him, she said, voice low but fierce. Together. He drew her close, lips brushing hers in a heated, fleeting kiss. We will, he whispered, silver light tracing along his arms, magic pulsing like a heartbeat. No darkness can break us, not while we stand as one. The Shadow Alpha's distant howl echoed through the mist, a chilling reminder that time was short. Kale's pack rallied, energy and loyalty intertwining with his power. The forest itself seemed to respond, ancient magic stirring in anticipation of the coming battle. Kale inhaled, letting the silver and crimson energy wash over him. He felt the weight of the past, the pulse of the present, and the promise of the future all converging in this moment. Secrets or no secrets, he murmured to Luna, brushing her hair from her face, we will face it. Together, always. She smiled, eyes shimmering. Always, she echoed. And as the mist swirled around them, whispers of ancient magic and shadowed intent filled the forest. The Spellborn Bloodline Empire had survived the night, but the storm of secrets, desire, and power was only beginning to rise. Chapter 14, Eclipse of Power. The night sky darkened as clouds swallowed the remnants of the blood moon. Only the faintest crimson glow filtered through, casting long shadows over the forest. Kale's senses screamed. The Shadow Alpha was close, more dangerous than ever. Luna's hand slipped into his, grounding him amid the storm of magic and impending battle. Kale, this feels unstoppable, she whispered, silver eyes glowing with a mixture of fear and desire. Kale pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead. Nothing can stop us, he said firmly. Not darkness, not shadow, not even the heart of the eclipse. Together, we are power itself. From the trees, the Shadow Alpha emerged, eyes blazing crimson, dark energy coiling around him like living smoke. His loyalists circled, snarling, their teeth gleaming in the faint light. You think your little pack, your bond, can challenge me? The Shadow Alpha hissed. I control the magic of the eclipse. I will bend it to my will and to destroy yours. Kale stepped forward, silver and crimson energy spiraling along his arms, the spellborn magic responding to the moon's dying glow. You are wrong, he growled. The heart of our bond, of our pack, of Luna and me, is stronger than any darkness you can summon. Luna pressed against him, and their combined energy flared, a wave of shimmering light that lit the forest like fire. Sparks danced along their skin, their breath mingling, their hearts synced in rhythm with the magic pulsing between them. The Shadow Alpha lunged, and Kale met him head-on. Shadows clashed with silver and crimson light, a storm of energy that shook the forest floor. The pack fought fiercely alongside them, loyal and unstoppable, their howls blending into the crescendo of power. Amid the chaos, Kale caught Luna's gaze. Desire and defiance surged together, igniting something deeper than magic. He pulled her close, brushing his lips against hers in a searing kiss that fueled both their courage and their spellborn power. The Shadow Alpha recoiled, unprepared for the force of their bond, the surge of love and loyalty that radiated like wildfire. Kale raised his hands, channeling every ounce of Spellborne magic through their joined energy. A shockwave erupted, scattering the lies that had been told to the Shadow Alpha, and his minions scattered into the shadows, leaving only truth echo of malice behind. See, Daintree, the mark in your right hand is the same as in our right hands. Daintree said softly, "This is real," and I was deceived, but no more. Kale said, "No more, we set you free and heal you and come against all lies and dark magic, you are set free. Set free to choose. Sign the treaty and become blood brothers. Are you ready?" Daintree said, "Thank you, yes." Sarah Lunz said yes, Keel said yes. Keel said, "By the power of the moon, we make this blood oath between your vampire clan and our werewolf pack." As they each cut the palm of their right palm under the blood moon, and angelic glow surrounded each of them and lifted them into the air, and the glow was blinding, and the forever blood oath was formed, and Daintree was hailed as a hero in his kingdom for insurance of a 1,000 tears of peace. Breathless, Kale held Luna close, their foreheads touching. "We did it," he murmured. "This is only the beginning, but together, nothing can touch us." Luna smiled, her silver eyes bright with trust and longing. "Always," she whispered, and Kale felt the power of their bond fuse with the forest, the pack, and the magic itself. Above them, the faint red glow of the blood moon lingered, a promise that the Empire was alive, their love unstoppable, and the storm of darkness only fueling the rise of the Spellborn Bloodline Empire. Chapter 15. Aftermath and Desire. The forest had fallen silent, the echoes of battle fading into the night. Kale stood at the center of the clearing, silver and crimson magic slowly dimming along his arms, his chest heaving with exhaustion and relief. Luna came to his side, her fingers lacing with his. "Kale, it's over, for now," she whispered, eyes shimmering in the faint glow of the blood moon. Kale's gaze softened as he looked at her. "For now," he echoed. "But the Shadow Alpha won't rest. And neither will the magic that stirs in the shadows." She pressed closer, her warmth grounding him, calming the storm of power and adrenaline still surging through his veins. "Then we rest, together," she murmured, her lips brushing his cheek in a fleeting kiss that sent shivers down his spine. Kale pulled her into his arms, holding her close. Desire flared, but it was tempered with tenderness, a quiet intimacy that had grown stronger with every challenge. Together, he agreed, voice low and fierce. "Always." The pack gathered around them, forming a protective circle. Wolves rested their heads near Kale and Luna, loyal and unshakable. Even in victory, the Alpha and Luna understood that their strength came not just from magic, but from the bonds that held them together, their pack, their love, and the trust they shared. Kale lowered his hand, brushing Luna's hair back. "The Spellborn legacy is more than power. It's love. It's loyalty. It's every choice we make to protect each other, and this empire." Luna smiled, leaning into him. "And it's unstoppable," she said softly, "because we face everything together." A distant howl drifted through the forest, faint but familiar, a reminder that danger never truly sleeps. Kale's eyes narrowed, determination coiling in his chest. "The Shadow Alpha's plans are changed as we forge new alliances and ensures a 1,000 years of peace," he murmured. "But neither ours or his is completely safe, always a new danger hiding. We've only just begun to claim our empire." He pressed a final, lingering kiss to Luna's lips, a promise of desire, protection, and power. Their bond shimmered, silver and crimson energy intertwining around them, a beacon of hope, strength, and love. Thank you for listening to my story, The Spellborn Bloodline Empire. If you liked the story, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment, and stay tuned as the next story unfolds.